Well, Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham had something to say about Starkville, and let's just say it's not going unnoticed.
You are Locked On Mississippi State, your daily podcast on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. My name is Jaron Spor. I'm a national college football writer at Athlon Sports. That's Landon McBride. We've got some press conference reactions for you. Not only do we have Kenny Dillingham, we also want to dive into what Jeff Lebby said about Arizona State in his press conference that took place on Monday. We also have a major update for recruiting. There's some quarterback news. I'll just tease it that way. But first, let's dive into what Kenny Dillingham said. He was asked several different things about Mississippi State. He was asked about Davis Wade Stadium. He was asked about how much different a team they are, all different kinds of things. But I liked his response about the team because obviously they played last year. Mm-hmm. Mississippi State goes 2-10. Arizona State goes to the college football playoff. They went completely different directions.
A little bit.
But, he said he believes it's 100% a different team. He said they've added over 30 transfers. They added 8 junior college players. They added about 40 veterans to their football team, and that doesn't include the high school class they signed. The team is 65 to 70% new from last year's team. There are a lot of new faces. They're playing hard. You can see Coach Jeff Lebby, his identity is starting to show up. The passion that he has for the game is starting to show up. It's a completely different football team, but there are some guys that were good football players last year that are returning again. There are a lot of new guys. And so, kind of give credit to the turnover that Lebby has made. Mentioned, obviously, some guys that have stayed. Isaac Smith's one of them. Mm-hmm. Blake Shapen obviously would have played in that game last year before getting injured later on. So, we've talked about it a lot, but that's, at least somewhat high praise from Arizona State is that they're noticing the identity starting to take place.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we said. There's a whole lot of new pieces on this team, and so it is hard to say, this is the team that went 2-10 last year, because it's not. I mean, like he said, 65 to 70%. I mean, I'd have to check that math, but I think it's probably in the ballpark of about what the turnover is. So we're seeing it. Like, I mean, we mentioned it when we talked about that game. The defensive line is playing significantly better. The corners are looking good. We saw that offensive identity of running the football start to really take shape in the second half. So, I mean, we're seeing that new identity show up, and the fact that, opposing coaches are seeing that new identity. And it also kind of makes it hard from a schematic standpoint of someone like an opposing coach at this point in time, because you have all these new players. You kind of know what Lebby wants to be, but you don't know exactly how it's going to fit when he has this many new pieces that he's trying to work in right now.
Yeah, for sure. I got someone delivering some right now, so my dog's going nuts. But absolutely. And he also talked about the tempo, and that's something that you could tell is an emphasis for them. He said they play fast, and you better get lined up in time.
Yeah, you have to do that. And they says if you don't, then they're going to get on a roll and take advantage of you. They're not going to give you time to catch your breath. They're going to keep pushing the pedal to the metal. So we've got to be able to get aligned on defense. And that's true. That's another thing we've talked about. And it's a thing that's kind of just a hallmark of these up-tempo type offenses. It's that first down. And once they get that, they're going to keep rolling and just get moving on you, because a lot of the people who run those up-tempo type offenses have the sequences of plays. And once they get that first down, they already know what the next one is, what the next one is, what the next one is. And so it just keeps getting faster and faster. And we talked a little bit about it. Shapen did look great in his first start, but he understands the offense. So if he can get in a rhythm and the offense starts getting in a rhythm, you can wear out a defense fast.
Yeah, and also with the up-tempo offense, it's also on the coordinators too, the defensive coordinator. You have to get in that play call quick. Because if you don't have it called in right, then you can't get lined up correctly. Then you miss a run fit. Then, this and that happens. As you mentioned, if they get that first down, notice even if it's an out route, they're not giving it to the nearest official. They're running it to the middle official so he can spot it quick and they can get set and go. And that just makes things difficult for the whole team. And that's how you miss an assignment, you blow a coverage, all these things that the tempo takes advantage of. Now, I actually mentioned this in a video that I made for the Locked On College Football deal. I wouldn't hate them. Like, I want them to be kind of sporadic with the tempo because I think in this game they're overmatched in the game. But I think because of how well they can run the football, they could win the game by just controlling the clock. Now, to do that, you can't go tempo all the time.
No.
Because if you're going tempo, you're not going to control the clock. You're just not. I mean, even this last game where they dominated against Southern Miss, they barely won the time of possession battle. And that's just how it is when you have an up-tempo offense. And so I think this is a game that maybe they need to be a little more sporadic about it and a little more strategic. Yeah, be more strategic with it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of going tempo early to where you start to see what the defenses go to. I mean, you know somewhat what the defense, kind of what their base is from watching film, but you don't necessarily know exactly what their go-to play calls are going to be against you every alignment. So if you go tempo early, you can start to get a feel of that and get some of those guys a little gassed early and then lean into the run game after the first couple series. But I understand how that can backfire real quick. If you go 3 and out trying to go tempo, things get ugly fast. So,
yeah, I wouldn't hate the tempo. First quarter, kind of lean into it. Then fourth quarter, bring the tempo back kind of thing and really test them to see how gassed they are. But that's a good point that you brought up. The tempo is a great thing, but if you're going 3 and out, it's not. Because when it comes to the tempo, you're going to gas people when you're getting those first downs and making them run to a spot and get set. But if you're going 3 and out, they're going to be fresher than anything. So it's not an advantage at that point.
Your own defense.
That's what I'm saying. And your defense gets gassed, but their defense is fresh because you're going 3 and out and getting them right off the field. So that's not an advantage. So you need to that's another reason why you got to kind of pick your spots, because if early in the game it's not successful, then there's no reason to put your defense at a disadvantage by just doing it because this is what we do. Like, no, as a coach, you have to adjust to the game. The other thing that I thought was interesting was he brought up where the team was staying. I thought that was first off, I thought it was a weird question, but then he kind of gave an interesting answer. He said, now that we play in a lot of smaller towns, we stay further away from stadiums for road games. We stay about an hour to an hour 20 away from the stadium this week. That's the nearest hotel that is not a casino to stay at. That's the truth. Some teams stay at the casino. That wasn't even a joke. It's the nearest hotel. Little shot at Starkville. And I did check it. There are definitely hotels that don't have casinos around the area.
Yeah, that was an interesting question. I didn't know what to do with it because normally when I hear that question, there's some kind of weird haunting that is either like being brought up or because the visiting team always stays at the same hotel. So fans prank those hotels so people can't sleep. But the fact that he maybe that's what he actually wanted to say, but didn't want to say it. So he went with the casino route. The other thing that brought up me was the humidity. I've mentioned a few times, I grew up in East Texas, right on the Gulf. So I'm used to the humidity. So anytime someone mentions it, I'm like, wait, there are places where that's not just normal, but that could come up to hey, you go tempo, you got people from Arizona that aren't used to humidity. You sweat very differently when it's humid than you do in the dry. It's completely different, and the heat is very different. So, I mean, it's a legitimate concern that they probably are having to try to come up with a way to deal with. They're going to have a new plan for rehydrating players. So, if you can get them gassed, it could be a different type of gassed than what you might see from them if you did the same thing in Arizona.
And I thought another funny little tidbit. I know we're about out of time on this segment, but he was asked about what he's looking forward to playing at Davis Wade Stadium. He said, cowbells, baby. It's going to be fun. They love their football down there. And I think that we showed that we love our football here on Saturday. I just love the cowbells comment because that's what Mississippi State knows for.
Yeah, and make him not think they're fun.
Yeah, and you have to.
Cowbells.
And in the humidity comment, he talked about how we can prepare for cowbells. We're going to have them going on in practice. And when I read that, it's like, and I saw the video of it,
Don't know about that.
That's not preparing for the cowbells. Like, just having him going, that's not preparing for him.
No.
So the fans, Jeff Lebby called him out, and I believe it was in an email.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready to roll. You got to be ready to rock, because I think if the crowd brings it, and the team's got to bring it too, obviously. But I really think an upset could happen here.
I do too.
We'll have to wait and see. All right, Jeff Lebby also talked about Arizona State. What is he kind of anticipating to see from the Sun Devils? We'll talk about that coming next. Well, Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else. That's as of this month, or as of August of 2025. As an athlete focused on every detail, Mazda does the same, from metallic accents to hand-stitched Napa leather. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel. The smooth handling, intuitive controls, and standard all-wheel drive in every crossover SUV. It's the small details that make the big plays, and just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so Jeff Lebby also had some comments about Arizona State. He said, do you see some of the same tendencies from Arizona State this year? He says there's going to be a ton of similarities from a schematic standpoint, without a doubt. You look at them defensively, 10 back on defense, offensively, a ton of returners, entire offensive line, obviously the quarterback and outside receiver, and Jordyn Tyson. And they got two backs that are playing really good and are really good that we have great familiarity with. They are a unit that is really dangerous on the offensive side of the ball, create a bunch of explosive plays. A quarterback that people think is as good as there is in America. They put those guys in positions for success. We've got a great challenge. And that's exactly right. We talked about Arizona State returning one of the top returning productions in the country. I think they were number 12, number 10 or 12, somewhere around there. Obviously, they lose the big one and Cam Scattaboo, but Sam Levitt is a very good quarterback, as we talked about. Jordyn Tyson might be the best wide receiver in the country. And the defense wasn't great last year, but they returned 10. And I mean, as far as guys that are draft eligible type guys, because obviously Jeremiah Smith is the best, although he struggled week one, but we think he bounced back for sure. But Jordyn Tyson is up there.
Yeah, Jordyn Tyson, I mean, yes, this is going to – every coach is going to say it comes down to running the football and stopping the run. I don't know if that's just something you pick up when you become a coach. Like, you just know you have to say that at some point. But, I mean, this game's going to come down if they can contain Tyson, honestly.
Yeah.
And he mentioned it. I think Lebby mentioned he's targeted like 16 times and had like 13 catches. It's going to be a big challenge for the corners that looked really good, but Levitt and Tyson are a little bit different animal than what they faced in week one.
Yeah, 12 catches, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, pretty good day.
Not bad. And Levitt had a great day as well. But they did struggle running the football, and you got to make them one-dimensional. And they struggled in that game. That was a game that they could have lost. But Tyson and Levitt had a big day. But yeah, I mean, Levitt's going to present his challenges. Obviously, in the passing game, he also had like a 50-yard touchdown run in that game last week.
He's deceptively fast.
He is, and he's a decent runner. But yeah, the unknowns come at the running back position, obviously. But the offensive line being back, most of them, that's big for them as well. But I don't know how they're going to contain Tyson. I would expect them to kind of do maybe a bracket type coverage on him. But the good thing is he's a big receiver, and Mississippi State's got some big corners that they could throw at him.
Yeah, I think you almost do the old school Belichick move. You put your number 2 corner and a safety on him, and you put your number 1 corner on the other side. It's like, look, you're not going to beat us. We're going to double team this guy, but we're going to put our best corner on your number 2 guy, and you're going to have to find someone else to beat us. That might be the move. And like you mentioned, the running game struggled, which, I mean, last year, which we figured it would. That's why we said this upset could happen, because they're still trying to figure out who they are in a post-Scattaboo world. And that's going to come down to the defensive line, really, which they played a lot better, but a little bit different task, a little bit better team. So if they can continue to elevate that play and you actually do turn them into a one-dimensional team, which to me also includes cutting down on Levitt running free, do you have a legitimate shot here?
Yeah, and Levitt didn't have a great day either. 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, but 213 of that was to Jordyn Tyson and Kyson Brown, the running back. And Kyson Brown had 7 catches for 73 yards, but then he also had the decent day receiving with 6 catches for 72 yards. So 7 carries, 73 yards, 6 catches, 72 yards. So he's a big part of their passing game as well. But outside of that, the next one is 1 catch for 20, 3 for 13, 1 for 6, 2 for 5. They don't have much at receiver outside of Tyson. And then obviously Kyson Brown is someone that they want to use in multiple roles. Same with Raleek Brown, who is the other running back, 5 carries for 38 yards. He also had 3 catches for 13 yards. He's a kind of a gadget player, very fast and difficult. They like to do some fun stuff with him. So you just got to figure out a way to limit Tyson as much as possible, and you might walk out with a win because Levitt, in my opinion, is one of those quarterbacks that is going to try to force feed the receiver.
Yeah.
He's not one of those quarterbacks that's like, okay, you're taking him away, I'll just throw this guy all day long, or this matchup, or I'll pick apart this area of the field. I don't feel like he's that quarterback.
I don't either. And to this point, Tyson has also proven to be the type of receiver that when you do that, it's still going to work out okay for you. So that's going to give you even more confidence to try to force it, which is why you need to have, if not a true double team, you kind of need to have like the linebacker shading under, taking away the quick stuff, and the safety shaded over the top to where no matter which way he comes on that release, you have help coming to make those windows so small that Levitt has to be perfect or it's getting picked.
Yeah, and Tyson took off at the end of the year last year. If Mississippi State can duplicate, they held him to 2 catches for 7 yards last year in a 30-23 game. Then he had a big game against Texas State, but then he went Texas Tech, 2 catches for 33 yards, 6 for 76 against Kansas, 5 for 84. That's when you started to see him really pick up. 6 for 108 against Cincinnati, 8 for 81, 7 of 99, and then he had the 176, 125, 143 to end the year. But Mississippi State had success last year against Tyson in the passing attack. And you know, he wasn't this elite receiver early in that season yet. I mean, he had 470 yards on his career heading into last year. So you didn't know that he was about to explode and have the season that he was going to end up having. Yeah. But they had success.
Yeah, they had success. And if you can duplicate that with where we think this team has improved, both on the offensive line, I think the defensive line is better. If those things are true and you do have a little bit more potent offensive attack, hey, and you're at home. Yeah. Last year, you're on the road. And
you were in it against a playoff team.
Home and road, I mean, I honestly think if you had a good crowd, that's about worth 3.5, maybe 4 points. So I'm just saying, I mean, that's a field goal game at home. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And after the first half last week, I had talked myself out of this possibly being an upset. But now I'm right back.
Yeah. Well, and in that game last year, Levitt throws for 69 yards total. Scatterboo ran 33 times for 262 yards.
Yeah.
That's where you were lost there. I mean, and you were still in the game. You lost by 7. It's not like it was a blowout.
Exactly.
So I think there's some ways to success here, but obviously they got to first play well. But all right, we got a recruiting update to get to next. Major update on a quarterback. We'll talk about that.
The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And I love using FanDuel because it's so quick and easy, and my favorite ways to bet are with those live bets that come up in the middle of the game, because I'm one of those people, I see a line and I kind of like it, but something on the other team is making me kind of second guess on if I should put some money on a running back, maybe having a big day or a quarterback really going off. But once you get into it and you see those live bets, then you can start to see how the game is going and bet the over, the under based off of what you are feeling from there. And, it just adds a little bit more energy and excitement to those games on Sundays, especially the ones that you're just not super into. This really helps you stay focused on those. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. When you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. And Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. And when I first started using Monarch, one thing I noticed was just how much I spend on subscriptions. But I mean, in today's age, almost everything's a subscription. So you just start clicking and you end up with way more than you need, whether it's TV, food delivery, music, all these things. But when it's laid out for you like Monarch does, you can see what you're spending and you make those cuts that you can live without to save money and just help your long-term investments. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so let's get to some of the good and the bad with some recruiting. Malachi Zeigler, we'll start with the good. Obviously, 2027 quarterback, 4-star prospect. Kind of seems like it's been a battle between Mississippi State and SMU. He will be back in Starkville, he says, for the game against Arizona State. He's obviously already made several trips there this season, during the year, not during the football season so far. But anytime you can get a guy back on campus, that's always a positive.
Yeah, it is. That means, and like we mentioned with him, we don't think this recruitment battle is anywhere close to being over, even if he makes a decision. But yeah, it's time. It's great to still be able to get him on campus because you still have to be in the running. Even if we think it's not over, you have to be the other school involved if he picks someone else. So getting him on campus is huge.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe you can kind of sway some things. You get a big upset win. That could really sway some things. But he was a guy who said he wanted to commit before his season started. I believe his season gets underway this Friday, so he hasn't made a decision or said he's going to. So the more times you can get him on campus and kind of postpone that decision, I think is the better because you obviously have a lot to prove still to him.
Yeah, you still do. And I mean, just got to keep pushing for him. And like we mentioned, this coaching staff is great at building relationships. So the more interaction you can have with him, the better, because people are still, the results haven't come on the field yet, but these recruits are still believing in this coaching staff's vision.
Yeah, and the bad update is about Zayion Cotton, the 3-star tight end prospect. He was at Ole Miss last weekend, and said Ole Miss continues to recruit him hard, and added that their coaches do want to see him at more of their games this season. He is planning on being at Mississippi State this weekend for the Arizona State game. He opened his season with 4 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown, so he had a solid opener. But yeah, I mean, even though he's committed, every single time you have a guy that's committed that goes to another school for a visit, that's never what you want to hear.
Yeah, it's the flip side of the conversation we just had. Other teams, when you have a talented guy, they're going to keep pushing for him. So you just have to keep selling him on the vision. I mean, he obviously believed in it enough to commit. So you just kind of have to play a little defense and hold off these other schools coming in.
And that's why, again, this game is so big this weekend. If you can show that you can compete, you can win the game, whatever, you're going to get some more guys to start believing. But it's not easy. It's easier said than done. You got to have a really good game this upcoming weekend, and just prove not just to these two recruits, all your other recruits, even the ones that are committed, but also the guys that are not committed that are still looking at your school. Show them why they should come here, and that goes for the 2027 guys. Show them why this is a place that is on the right track.
Yeah, and one other thing that I noticed, that corner I mentioned the last time we did a recruiting update, Sean Church Jr., according to 24/7, he's going to be at this game too.
Yeah.
So that's
big weekend.
He's uncommitted. So, I mean, that'd be a nice piece. He's a big corner, 6'3", about 180. So there's another piece to add to the class.
Yeah, that would be a big one. So it's shaping up to be a big recruiting weekend. Now the team just has to go perform.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. All right, my name is Jaron. Check out my work over in Athlon Sports. That's Landon. Follow us, Locked On Mississippi State. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Post daily videos Monday through Friday, so check those out. Also, help us by hitting that like, subscribe, ring the bell, get notified anytime we post anything over on YouTube. We've passed the 900 mark. We were at 906 subscribers last time I looked. So thank you guys so much for that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by early the college football season, so within the next week or two. And so your help would be greatly appreciated for us to hit that goal. And yeah, until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.